Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live, thank you for that. If you're watching us later, we do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. You can check them out there at your leisure. Of course, Facebook keeps the live video online forever. So you can always go back and watch these shows on Facebook if you so choose. We also have a free part of our website that's dedicated to all of our coronavirus coverage. It is www.livingstonparishnews.com/coronavirus. You can go check all of that out there. Of course, it's nasty this morning. We'll get into the weather in just a second, but it is causing some delays, especially at 190 and Range Avenue, as well as 190 4-H Club Road and River Road. You're also looking at some minor delays at 447 and I-12, which is in Walker, and of course at Range and I-12, which is in Denham Springs. I-12 itself looking relatively clear, some minor delays around O'Neill Lane. As mentioned, it is raining. It is expected to rain through about 1 p.m. I know a lot of people are probably tired of it. It started raining yesterday about 6 o'clock and has continued to rain since. Please keep an eye on your ditches and the drainage in and around your home. Of course, it's always a good idea to get a feel for it before we get into some more of the heavy rain season over the summer. Try to keep those ditches clear, get that trash picked up. Now's a good time to do it, especially since this rain now is getting pretty light. So please try to keep an eye on your home, on your yard. Try to keep it clean. Keep those ditches clear, as mentioned, especially once we get into a heavier rain season. It's currently 61 degrees, 78 degrees is your high, 54 degrees your overnight low. So it's gonna be chilly, bringing a little cold front through. So get ready. Might have to turn the heater on again tonight. Getting into the coronavirus, 27,286 statewide cases, 17,303 recovered, 152,000 total tests, 1,666 hospitalized on 244 vents, with 1,758 deaths. That's statewide statistics. In Livingston Parish, you're looking at 185 cases, 13 deaths, which is an increase of 2 since yesterday. Or I guess since these are technically yesterday's statistics, so an increase of 2 since Monday. You're also looking at 2,134 local tests. Yesterday, the governor kind of had a hodgepodge of a press conference, more of a discussion type setting. Didn't really throw out a whole lot of new information, except he did discuss that the feds have discussed with him, that would be the federal coronavirus task force, that they are going to help the state ramp up testing. That is regular coronavirus testing as well as serology testing and contact tracing. He said that he was not having a press conference today. He didn't say why until later yesterday. He did announce that he is going to visit President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence today, Wednesday. He is leaving out. Some of the topics of conversation are going to be keeping the economy, not necessarily the whole economy, but keeping the stay-at-home order in place for another 2 weeks, as well as what sort of steps the state is looking to take in terms of increasing capacity for testing and what the federal government can do for them. One of the things the governor did want to remind folks about was that this extension of the stay-at-home order was discussed with Vice President Pence and the coronavirus task force. They agreed with it, so he does not expect to get a whole lot of flack for that as he visits the White House. However, there is some back and forth going on at home. Both the president of the Louisiana Senate as well as the Speaker of the House have expressed disappointment. They felt like the conversation just wasn't there between the legislature and the governor. They are hoping for a better line of communication, and right now, according to a interview of one state representative yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, he and several other lawmakers are going to be looking for provisions that would allow them to overrule the stay-at-home order going for another 2 weeks. So a little bit of political I guess back and forth, you can say, here in Louisiana. But again, Governor Edwards will be going to visit President Donald Trump as well as Vice President Mike Pence today. The governor reminded everyone that while maybe in some of these districts or regions of Louisiana Department of Health, some of the metrics do look better over a 30-day period. According to the federal task force, it has to be over a 14-day period, which is why some of these regions did show increases over this past 14 days. There's a few theories out there about when exactly those days started for that 14-day period, but you're looking at minor increases in those areas, and plateaus are decreasing in most. So we're looking again at another 2 weeks of the stay-at-home order. Both the Baton Rouge Chamber as well as the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, or LABI, responded to the extension of the stay-at-home order. LABI was disappointed, but wanted to let people know, this is the time for you to get prepared to open, figure out exactly what you need to do in your industry, or get in touch with the task force or the Resilient Louisiana Commission to ask them if they've come up with any kind of idea for your industry. But of course, one of the things that the governor said is right now there are a few changes. Restaurants are going to be allowed to have outdoor seating, just cannot have wait staff. It's more sort of we're delivering it to your table. Of course, the tables are going to have appropriate social distancing and that sort of thing. There is, according to the governor, one of the things that they're looking at is reduced capacity in a lot of public buildings. Getting in touch. One of the things you can do over the next few weeks is get in touch with the fire marshal, figure out what your capacity is, and then see what the potential reduction could be. The governor said up to 75%, but that's not set in stone at this point. But that is something to also consider. Personal protective equipment. Any kind of barrier you can put up between a checkout counter and your customers. Those are the sorts of things that both LABI and BRAC, or the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, have suggested that businesses do in preparation to open on May 15th. So long as these numbers continue over this path, we should be looking at an opening, although after this last one, I surely will make no promises. I am not the governor. But the governor did want to remind folks that he did have the backup of the White House and of the federal task force in making that decision. One of the things that President Donald Trump announced yesterday during his press conference was that the first round of PPP, according to the Small Business Administration, saved about 30 million jobs. Now they're already knee deep into the next section of PPP. About $51 billion has already been allocated to a number of loans. So we'll be looking for those final statistics like we had for round one as soon as we have them. As you know, after that round one distribution, most of the money, about 70% of the money went to loans, $350,000 or more. Now, of course, a large portion of that is because they were requesting more money, whereas about 80% of the loans went to businesses of requesting about 100 or less than 350,000, which means roughly about 50 people or less on staff. So should be interesting to see what the statistics look like between phase one or round one and round two. So round two is underway. That application period for PPP opened Monday at 10:30 a.m. We have heard reports that the system's moving a little slow because there are a lot of people scrambling to get in line, get in the queue, try to get their money, and in most cases trying to get their money to save their business. So we'll be keeping an eye on those statistics for you as they come out. I want to go over the mitigation efforts real quick because this is part of course, moving forward. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public per CDC guidelines. Now, these are all requests. Don't touch your face, like I just scratched my face. 6 feet of distance between you and others, or social distancing in public. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. And stay at home if you possibly can to work, and also definitely stay at home if you are sick. contact your employer and let them know you're sick, and then contact your doctor via telehealth, which is either telephone or Zoom conference or something like that, to get in touch with them, let them know what's going on, let them give you a diagnosis over the phone, if at all possible. So please remember those mitigation efforts. I need to start just announcing them right at the beginning of the show. But they are important, of course, moving forward. One of the things the governor said yesterday as well is that he expects wearing a mask for most to be the new normal. Again, one of the things he announced on Monday, or I believe it was last week actually, is that he is asking, not telling people to wear a mask. That is your choice. Of course, CDC guidelines state that just by you wearing a mask, you reduce your chance of being infected with COVID-19 in public by 50%. And if everyone's wearing a mask, you're getting up to 70 or 80% reduction in infection. So it's in the best interest. But of course, if you choose not to wear a mask, you don't have to. I wear a mask every time I leave the house. So I recommend it. But I'm just a guy. The parish yesterday announced that on May 4th, their offices will be reopening. According to Parish President Leighton Ricks, he knows that the parish is ready to reopen in terms of commerce, but that's not his decision. That is up to the governor. The governor did back up that statement yesterday in his press conference by saying local government, including all the way down to municipalities, are more than welcome to implement more stringent measures for curbing the spread of the coronavirus, but they may not impose more relaxed measures. So as long as certain businesses are supposed to remain closed, the parish president's hands are tied. He did want to say that if you are a restaurant in the greater parish area, not inside, say, Denham, Walker, Livingston, anything like that, where you have to report to a local government, and you're looking to implement outside seating, you do need to contact the permit office. Parish President Leighton Ricks said that he is going to allow that. It's just you have to make sure that you're meeting proper social distancing and that there is no wait staff waiting on those tables. It's just more of sort of an outside delivery. The permit office will be open on May 4th. You can give them a call, apply for that permit to get that outdoor seating set up. One of the things the parish president said was that his office is going to be open. They are going to be wearing masks, especially those who deal with the public. They are going to be disinfecting on a daily basis. They are also going to be keeping lobbies and areas clear with regard to up to 10 people. So they're not going to have more than 10 people in lobbies. If it turns out that they have 10 people in a lobby and they cannot meet the social distancing measures, they're going to have to reduce that number. But they are going to be trying to focus on keeping people safe and keeping these areas disinfected throughout the day. One of the other things as well is that any kind of department that deals with the public, there will be shields put up in between those who deal with the public, those who are front facing in that office and deal with the public on a regular basis. The parish president did say, or ask, I guess you can say, that individuals try to call and get their problem solved over the phone or use any kind of online portal, especially for the permit office, to try to get these things taken care of online without having to expose themselves to others, to the public, and to the parish workers, if at all possible. He knows that's not possible for everybody, but if you can, he does ask that you do. According to the parish president as well, the only thing that they've really been dealing with in the past 6 weeks or so since closing is working with builders and contractors to do their permitting. No new subdivisions or anything like that, but those who are still in the process and can practice appropriate social distancing and mitigation efforts, he wanted to keep those projects going, so they've been working with those contractors. One of the things he also said is that the Department of Public Works will be returning to work. I wonder if y'all heard that. That was my neck. Will be returning to work May 4th as well. They will be doing things a little bit differently. They will have eight sort of supervisors with small groups that will be doing specific tasks. There will be no break room or anything like that. They're going to be focused on those social distancing efforts. So those are some of the things that the parish will be doing as they try to reopen governmental offices on May 4th. The clerk of court's office still remains open under specific hours. The sheriff is still working, albeit with a skeleton administrative crew. We're still waiting for final dates on court. A lot of that's going to depend on the stay-at-home order. as well as social distancing. I'm sure there will be new rules for that. And not entirely sure if the assessor is open or not. But please remember, this is just about the parish president's office, and the governmental offices are reopening on May 4th. An interesting study was done over the past 2 weeks that was asking people after they had received their stimulus check, did they believe that they needed another? Now these polls are interesting. 84% said yes. One of the strange things, I guess you can say, is that only about 350 respondents were polled, but they were described as giving a national representation. That's the interesting thing about polls. But again, 84% are saying that they will need another stimulus check. Want, not entirely sure how the language was presented in the poll. When describing the poll, they simply said that they had asked 350 individuals whether or not they believed they needed another stimulus check. So that's 84% said yes, that they would like another one. Ms. Kim Habhab from Watson has retired. This was actually about 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. Allergies, man. This was about 2 weeks ago. The Watson community celebrated Miss Kim and her tenure as a teacher, 40 years in the Livingston Parish school system at Live Oak Middle School and Live Oak Junior High. A lot of stories being tossed around. A lot of people know Miss Kim. They did a full parade by her house. She was very emotional about the whole thing. She said it was the best party ever. The whole community celebrating her. She will move into retirement with this year effectively being over for on-campus instruction. She will now move into retirement. So congratulations to you, ma'am. And you can see a whole photo gallery of individuals decorating their cars and celebrating Miss Kim at www.livingstonparishnews.com/coronavirus. Want to remind folks, before we jump back into our traffic and weather, our statewide statistics for the coronavirus: 27,286 cases, 17,303 recovered, 152,000 tests have been completed, 1,666 are hospitalized on 244 vents or ventilators, 1,758 deaths. In Livingston Parish, you're looking at 185 cases, 13 deaths, which is an increase of 2 from Monday to Tuesday, and 2,134 tests. Want to remind folks of your mitigation efforts. Please remember to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at your office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Don't touch your face. Maintain 6 feet of distance or more between you and others in public. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. Stay home and work if at all possible. And stay home if you are sick and contact your doctor via telehealth. Want to remind folks that the governor is Governor John Bel Edwards is heading to the White House today to have a meeting with President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. He's going to be discussing the extension of the stay-at-home order and how the feds or the federal government can help the state of Louisiana expand their testing capacity. Of course, one of the benchmarks for the state is 200,000 coronavirus tests more than the 150 or so now that have already been done. So 200,000 more coronavirus tests in May, as well as expanding serology tests, which is antibody testing for a vaccine, as well as expanding contact tracing. According to Louisiana Department of Health, they need about 700 workers for that. They're somewhere between 70 and 100 right now, so they're trying to ramp all that up. When looking at your traffic, the rain probably has an effect on it. You're looking at delays at 190 and Range Avenue, as well as 4-H Club Road, 190, and River Road. There are minor delays on 447 at I-12, as well as Range at I-12. However, I-12 still looking relatively clear with some minor delays at O'Neill, probably because of the rain. Of course, we've mentioned the rain a lot. It will last until about 1 p.m. today. 61 degrees is your current temperature, 78 degrees your high. Sun's probably going to come out around 2. 54 degrees your overnight low. So this is a cold front that's coming through, going to bring some chillier weather. And over the overnight, you might have to turn that heater back on maybe one more time here before we move into some of the hotter months. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Please remember we are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. It's $7 a month for that. Of course, everybody who is a subscriber is going to get a bonus 5th edition for the month of April here next or tomorrow. And sometimes that happens. Of course, you're only going to get 52 weeks in a year. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. Please remember our coronavirus page is free at this point. Our podcast page is free as well. Usually we're about $5 a month. Well, not about. We are $5 a month for a subscription to our website. We hope you have a great day. We hope you do stay dry, especially if you do have to go to work. Please try to stay well and practice those mitigation efforts as we kind of slog through this next 2 weeks in terms of a stay-at-home order. And we will be back with you tomorrow with a little bit of information on the governor's visit to the White House. So we'll see you then.